I just wanted to say hi to that.
Shut up. Face the wall. Turn around. Turn around. Most of the movement, sir. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Yeah. And you weren't really sparring. You were fighting. We were fighting all the time. And just guys getting dropped all the time. And that was just the kind of gym that I was in.
But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
Joe Rogan responds to reports that Jake Paul was arrested for reportedly planning boxing bouts. Rogan emphasizes that no professional achievement is worth risking one's life for. He cautions that boxing poses genuine risks that should never be disregarded. According to sources, Rogan thinks Paul should re-evaluate his choices before entering the ring once more, since pursuing fame or money through dangerous battles is not worth the possible repercussions.
Some of the controversy he's been...
Joe Rogan stressed that boxing is very risky and that continuing to fight carelessly could have dire repercussions. Additionally, he cautioned that the fighter might face legal punishment if they participated in illicit or prearranged acts. Life has been wrecked.
Because then you can't think, you can't do things, you don't know what the fuck you're doing in life. It's like literally everything is the quality of your ability to think.
Nikisa Badarian has made it clear that neither Jake Paul nor his group tried to manipulate the fight or committed any crime. In response to the widely circulated claims that the fight with Anthony Joshua was staged, he declared them to be wholly untrue. Nikisa alleges that shocking statements were posted online, such as a post implying that Joshua had an agreement with Paul not to knock him out. He clarified that Joshua disregarded any purported arrangement and fought with sincerity and determination. Jake trained, competed, and took genuine chances in the ring, according to Nikisa. He added that those who propagate these false notions are facing legal repercussions. Nikisa believes that this explanation is essential to safeguarding the reputations of Jake and his team by demonstrating to both supporters and detractors that the fight was real and unplanned, and that any idea of a predetermined result is completely unfounded.
The script, rig, this, that, and the other. Do you think now, at the very least, that talk goes away? Broke his jaw, went in there against Anthony Joshua. At the very least, do you think that you guys can move on from that? Like, that won't follow you?
No, I don't. I actually... our lawyers are actively going after a number of people. One who claims to be a lawyer himself online. I don't remember the name or the handle, but it was something that had like 200,000 likes. And basically this post said there was an agreement for AJ not to knock out Jake, but AJ disregarded the agreement and decided to not get his payday, but knock out Jake Paul. So it's pretty astonishing what people say. Your dear friend Lou DiBella, saw him put up a bunch of ridiculous things and even said, Nikisa, go ahead and sue me, but this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
And so for the people, again, just to clear this up, because I asked Eddie this question, I'll ask you the exact same question. Once and for all, was there any sort of arrangement as far as it should go this many rounds? Because that's the one that I've heard. Oh, Anthony agreed to 3 rounds, 4 rounds. Can you tell us in black and white if there were any talks of any kind between the network, the promotion, the fighter?
There has never once in Jake Paul's career been any talk of that sort, of anything to do with the fight being anything but a real fight that has exactly the same situation as any professional fight. And that's exactly the same thing here for the Anthony Joshua fight. It's just beyond mind-blowing that people would think that. Anthony Joshua was on record saying that if he didn't finish him in the first round, that would be disappointing, that it would be a failure. The narrative changed as we got closer to fight night and obviously post-fight, and I understand why, but they were pretty adamant it would take max 2.
Jake Paul has already received a warning from Joe Rogan not to act carelessly in the future. He firmly advised him to think twice before taking on dangerous boxing contests, stressing that no professional achievement is worth putting one's life in danger for. Rogan emphasized that seeking manufactured or risky fights for fame or money could have dire repercussions because the risks of the ring are very real. For every combatant, safety and accountability must come first.
Look at all them celebrities like dude from the Mighty Ducks, the little boy actor that got strung out on drugs. And all his fronts and all his teeth were missing from being on meth or whatever, whatever drug of choice he was on. There's no coming back from that. The people who dissipate their teeth through drug usage, you don't get a second set. So if I'm not mistaken, the dude from Mighty Ducks, somebody like he's been clean, and they gave him a makeover, and he has like pretty much fake teeth. So yeah, the teeth are gonna be cooked. Now, I agree with the other part that Rogan was saying, but let's keep going.
I think he went into that fight knowing that was probably going to happen, and ultimately, the big win for him would be that he was even willing to do it, and that he could do well for a little bit.
Yeah, and I've already expressed my thoughts on this. I'm not giving no props for a person who says I am a real deal boxer because I went in and get smashed and got my jaw broken, but I lasted longer than Ngannou. But I was crazy enough to try, because to be honest, we're way past the honeymoon stage with a person like Jake Paul. You've been in this for long enough to go through fight camps, dedicate your time, effort, energy, money, spar with people. You spar with some quality names because you have resources and money or whatever. So we're well past that, to the point where you just get credit for stepping in. You maybe got credit your first fight or whatever, first couple of fights, for coming from your background and, you know, stepping in and fighting, but we're well past that. You have a box rec. You were being ranked by sanctioning bodies.
Eddie Hearn gave a critical evaluation of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul bout, emphasizing the meticulous preparation that went into every move in the ring. He clarified that Joshua's camp prioritized patience and controlled aggression over rash strikes, and the fight went just as planned. The idea was to test Jake Paul's endurance and expose his flaws in a methodical manner before hitting him hard. Hearn stressed that this deliberate approach is representative of real professional boxing, where success depends more on timing, discipline, and tactical execution than on raw strength. Every stage of the battle was planned to keep control while progressively establishing supremacy, showing how strategic thought frequently triumphs over physical prowess. Hearn claims that in addition to securing the victory, this strategy demonstrated boxing as a cautious, cerebral sport in which champions are defined by their measured execution and well-considered choices, which also distinguish seasoned fighters from amateurs.
Before the fight, I'm going to break him down, and then I'm going to knock him out. And that's exactly what he did. I thought it'd be all over within 3 rounds. But, you know, when I got in the ring after, because I was shouting, just, you know, anywhere, arm. I got in, he went, what are you rushing me for? And I was like, oh, sorry. So, but like, obviously he knows what he's doing, and actually now quite pleased that we got the rounds, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw you said that. Really random, I was on Twitter and I saw Jake Paul's mum said she wants to get in the ring and punch you. She said she doesn't like the smug look on your face. She is promoting her book, so I'm not sure if she wants, you know. But did you see that? What did you think of that?
No, I was very sad, because I couldn't have been nicer and more respectful of Jake and what he's done. And I think Logan's amazing. I think he's an incredible athlete. And I shook Jake Paul's dad's hand in the ring, you know. And if I would have seen Mum, I would have said, all right. But I think over the years, we've obviously had our beef, and she probably don't like me anyway. And I am probably a little bit smug. I wasn't smug after the fight, because I would have been more smug if it was all over in a round. So, no, I give Jake respect. And, yeah. Sorry, Jake's mum doesn't like me, but if she can send me
Adam Catterall gave a direct and honest analysis of the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul bout, highlighting the serious imbalance that contemporary boxing suffers when popularity affects matches. He maintained that Jake Paul's quick ascent in the sport is more due to his celebrity status and social media presence than to his actual technical prowess or ring experience. Catterall claims that Anthony Joshua demonstrated exceptional control, timing, and accuracy while purposefully limiting his full strength. Joshua's punches inflicted actual harm and demonstrated the disparity in skill between the boxers. This striking disparity led to conjecture that some elements of the fight might have been impacted by outside forces rather than just athletic factors. There were rumors that Jake Paul tried to control or influence the match's pace in order to reduce danger and keep appearances. These rumors reflected larger worries about celebrity boxing, which prioritizes spectacle above reality. Catterall's views highlight how competitive integrity can be distorted by contemporary hype-driven conflicts, which prioritize entertainment and marketability.
I've got to knock you out, but I've got to try and knock you out where I'm not hurting you as much as what I could if I unleashed. Yeah. And with the punch you said that he landed, it's not his best punch, his most powerful punch, right? Yep. and he's shattered his jaw in 2 places, right? So Anthony Joshua gets his 70 million, whatever it is, but I think he's sitting there thinking, thank God for that. Thank God. On a human level, I've come out, all right, I've sort of, not reputation, but I haven't hurt him as bad as what I could have.
There should be an awful amount of people breathing a massive sigh of relief. Anybody that put that fight together, athletic commissions, like you said,
It wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't at all. Like you said, it was a prize
Yes.
fight. It was an event. If Anthony damages him, he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stress to deal with, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bleeding the side of relief. The team that have put him in there, that have negotiated that for him, but the authorities that put that on and commissioned it as a proper boxing match, I've no doubt.
Does that go on his... Because
yeah, it's a professional boxing
Do you know what? If I was Anthony Joshua, I would be saying, I don't want that on my record. But for the credibility of them putting the fight on, they would have said to him, no, we've got to say this. It's been commissioned. It's going to be a proper fight. And I found it, I love my boxing, but I just find the whole thing really, really unedifying. You said about get followers. You mentioned Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is nowhere near his level of getting like a British title fight or whatever. Nowhere near. So it's basically he's like...
Beat Jake Paul.
Right, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, beat Jake Paul. But so
but what I'm saying is that that's 100. I stand by that, and I think Tommy would admit that. You know what I mean? To become a British champion is a very prestigious.
Instead, professional boxing is defined by skill, strategy, and traditional values. Sam Jones provided an honest and unvarnished response to the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, highlighting that it was difficult to watch because of obvious technical flaws rather than violent altercations. He noted that Jake Paul had trouble with basic boxing skills, such as timely reactions to Joshua's combinations, appropriate footwork, and basic defensive tactics. Throughout the duel, these frequent mistakes highlighted the obvious disparity in talent and experience. Some scenes seemed almost planned to onlookers, as though the action had been carefully directed to keep neither fighter from taking unnecessary risks. Even though Jake Paul had put in a lot of training, Jones claimed that the mismatch in skill and ring intelligence, as well as purported signs of choreographed pace, made for an uncomfortable viewing experience for anyone hoping for real competitive intensity. The bout highlighted the dangers of combining celebrity appeal with professional boxing, showing how spectacle can occasionally overpower talent and genuineness, leaving spectators doubting the validity of events where entertainment and performance are so obviously intertwined.
Breaking Jake Paul's jaw. Just talk to me right now about the fight itself, and then we'll break it down.
Bit of a crap fight, if we're all honest. It was like watching Jaws 2 when all the kids went out on their boats and they were in the middle of the sea and the shark was just surrounding the boat, just like that's what it was like. It was just like a shark circling its prey and just like it was like nibbling and eventually got him. But Jake Paul showed big plums in there, no matter what anybody says about him, because I've seen people say, yeah, he went in there to survive. Yeah, okay, he went in there to survive. He's a guy that's been boxing a couple of years against a unified champion of the world who can really punch. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best fight. It just wasn't the best thing to watch, was it? Like it was just, it weren't great. I just want to see now Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua. I think at the stages of their careers they're at, AJ and Tyson Fury, we don't need to see interim fights, Andrew. We don't need to see interim fights because they're just potential banana skins. We want to see two of the best heavyweights of this era.
Luke Thomas became a critical voice in the aftermath of the fight, questioning the favorable coverage Jake Paul got. He underlined that entering the ring with a top-tier boxer like Anthony Joshua shouldn't be applauded without careful consideration. Thomas contended that the match's theatrics obscured the actual risks. Observers conjectured that Paul's pre-fight self-assurance and specific in-ring actions supported the claims that he attempted to script parts of the fight. Thomas cautioned that commemorating such competitions creates a risky precedent by obfuscating the distinction between genuine competitiveness and entertainment.
Kind of feeds into the story of him being perhaps a little bit better than we sometimes think, although I don't really co-sign on that. Let me make the point. The first point is, I think people are overreacting a little bit. people were suggesting when I got on social media that this was like the biggest farce they'd ever seen in their life, and that this was, how could he fight like this, and this was a disaster, and Joshua should have got him out there earlier. There is probably some evidence to suggest that I don't think Joshua was carrying him in the sense of, hey, they coordinated this ahead of time. But was Joshua really stepping on the gas? No, I don't think he was really stepping on the gas. There were times I think he clearly pulled his punches, partly because Jake was squirmy and rotating on the outside. Also in part because I think, as I indicated on Friday, he's watching this guy with pretty bad footwork. He was literally tripping over himself, and he realized he just can't keep this up. So, okay, so there was that. But people were acting like, how could this be? How could this have happened? Guys, on Friday's MK, and then before that, earlier in the week on Submission Radio, they asked me on Submission Radio, how do you think he's gonna fight? And I'm like, he's gonna run. And they're like, you don't think he's gonna clinch? I'm like, okay, he'll clinch at times, but then the rest of the time, he's going to run. What other way was this going to go? What other way was this?
Strongly criticizing the fight, Chael Sonnen emphasized that fights of this nature are just too dangerous to take place in a regular setting. He said that the fight felt more like a struggle for survival with dangerously high reputational and bodily risks than a real boxing match. Sonnen emphasized that rookie fighters put themselves in potentially fatal situations when they enter the ring with elite professionals. The problem is exacerbated by these risky pairings and the reported scripting by Jake Paul. Sonnen claims that the practice of fusing celebrity with athletics jeopardizes boxing's credibility and puts competitors in needless danger. Analysts pointed out that Jake Paul's strategy during the fight occasionally seemed abnormally cautious, casting doubt on his motivations. Some saw this as a wise move, but others conjectured that Joshua was able to dominate without taking significant risks since some of the moments appeared to be staged. According to reports, Paul tried to control the pacing and scenes in order to enhance entertainment value and protect himself.
That was not a boxing match. It just wasn't. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there, and he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition, and then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. He was fighting. Then it turns to where he can't stay away anymore. So now he's got to go the other way. He's got to go forward. So now he's clinched him. Now he's dropping down to his knees. He's going below the waist. He's getting to double leg positions. He was fighting. These guys were Jake was fighting for his survival, and you could so see it. You could see this animal who's been caged and is just trying to make it through, not even kill its prey, just make it through. And it was incredible. It was really incredible. So on the back end, some of the comments that I made or that I had heard were so confusing to me. It was a very good competition. I will tell you, it breaks my heart too that Anthony Joshua can't get him out of there in one round. Dave Portnoy had made a comment before the fight. He said, I like Jake. I wish well for Jake. Of course I'm taking Joshua. And then Portnoy made his point. And he said, because I believe in boxing. This isn't if I'm cheering for Jake or if I think that Joshua's more experienced or better. I believe in I believe boxing's real. If boxing is an actual sport, if it is an actual sweet science, then of course a guy that's done it 11 times cannot compete with the Olympic champion.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.